Carbon Leaf Breakfast Questions and Answers at Terry's. Volume 1.
So we're just doing a little Carbon Leaf breakfast, get the day going and get some stuff done today in the studio. And we figured we'd kill two birds with one stone because we had some fan Q&A, fan questions that came in through Pledge Music a couple weeks back that we're just trying to get to, but we'll try to address a few of them. I would say this one isn't a question, but it's a pretty funny comment. Paul said that they loved they had a song that I loved that came up on the downloads of my iTunes 8 years ago for Life Less Ordinary, which is how he discovered the band. But his iTunes removed it with an update about a year ago, along with another song that he really liked from a band called Push Monkey. But I think that was the Dell Computers. I think that was like the first promotion that they had for Indian Summer. The label had set up a promotion with Dell Computers. Do you remember that?
I do. My next door neighbor got tunes on their computer as well.
Can you remember what you were doing in 2004?
2004, I was in Seattle and playing with a guy named Jude Bowerman and touring with him.
What was that like?
It's fun.
Nothing to dish.
No, nothing to speak of. It was a good time.
Okay.
It's a good time. Just playing white boy funk music across the land, spreading the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Did you have any recollection of Carbon Leaf at that point in time?
So my only thing with Carbon Leaf is Stevie, our mutual friend.
Merle,
Steve Van Meter.
which is a college fraternity brother of Terry and I's. Go ahead.
Who I see him for 1 week every summer at the family vacay.
At Capon Springs.
Yeah, at Capon Springs.
Which you've been
West
doing
Virginia.
since you were a kid.
Yep, every year since I was born.
And so has Steve.
And every summer he'd be like, yeah, man, Carbon Leaf, bro. Like, my buddies, bro, they're in a band. It's called Carbon Leaf.
Because we'd already known him for 11 years at that point.
Yeah.
Well, for 15 years at that point.
Yeah. And so he would always be like, Carbon Leaf, man, it's a band. I'm real good friends with it. I'm like, nah, whatever.
So then we were looking for a bass player, and Steve called us. He goes, I got this friend who plays bass. We were like, yeah, whatever.
Exactly right.
So you're like, somebody calls you up, an old friend, you're like,
My cousin plays in a band.
They're pretty good. They mostly play Pearl Jam, things like that. They're real good. Y'all check them out. And
So I wasn't acutely aware of Indian Summer.
but you had heard of the Boxer? Didn't you say you had heard of the Boxer? Or was that later?
Yeah. No, it was kind of all that.
Because when you were in Seattle, the Mountain was playing the Boxer
Yeah.
prior to Indian Summer's release.
And
The Mountain was the first, one of two of the first stations to play
yeah.
Carbon Leaf.
Yes. And so eventually I ended up touring and playing bass with a guy named Ian McFerrin, who opened for you guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
Who opened for you guys at the Tractor. Like
Yes.
around that time.
Did he open? He opened first then.
Yeah.
So your good buddy Ian opened for us in our first show ever in Seattle.
Yes.
That was the Tractor.
Huh?
First show in Seattle was when we flew in and did that.
Sunset.
Yeah.
Sunset Tavern. So
Does that sound right?
but that was a radio.
You did the Sunset?
Something. It was a little. We just flew in.
That was like a radio promo gig.
Little
In Ballard.
The first official ticketed gig was, I think, was it not the Tractor?
2 nights at the track.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the one that he opened for you guys. The one at the Tractor. I spent a lot of time at the Sunset. That was a day. Seeing Joe Doria and John Wicks duo, and John Wicks is now the drummer for Fits and the Tantrums.
Oh wow.
True story.